Hello, this is Dr. Yum. We are going to do cluster analysis through the ArcMap. So the process is pretty much similar to the hotspot analysis, but actually we are going to use a different tool. So the first of all, I got the Lakewood, City of Lakewood, the shapefile with this is the shapefile, this is point file. So I'm going to start with like the point file first. So first of all, the same as before, we are going to measure like the spatial correlations. So you go like the system toolbox and then under spatial statistic tool, then you can see like the analyzing patterns. So you can find out the statistic, the spatial autocorrelations, which is more in AI. You can click this. So I'm going to select the point file first, then I'm going to select maybe what else we have, higher education, and then I'm going to check the generate report. So you remember like we have like the graphs where we can see the distribution pattern. So now we are not going to touch anything else here. We are going to have like the default settings. Then click OK. So it takes a little bit of time. Then you click this. Then you can see here, as you can see here. So we have like the statistical significance, z-value, and index. This one needs to be like positive, right? Do you remember that? So I'm going to double click this. Then it comes with like this kind of things. So it says Morinzai I is positive. So G score is positive here, and then index is like this. So we can see here the pattern, right? So I think we have no problem with this. So I'm going to close it again. After that, I'm going to we try to measure like the incremental spatial correlation. So you remember we did it before. So, but we need to measure the starting point. So which distance we are going to start measure like the spatial correlations, right? So we need to know this the beginning distance and then like the distant interval, right? So before we go there, and then we are going to close this. Then we're gonna go to utility, and then we go to calculate distance band. So I'm going to click this and Lakewood point, and just click OK. So now we can see here. So minimum is 48. This is a meter, I think. And the average is 109 meter, and the maximum is 295 meters. This is like the ArcMap measures each point A to point B and point A to point C. It measures everything, each other. Then it create like the minimum, average, and maximum. So we are going to use 109, but I may use just like the 100 meters. Then I can split like the every 50 meters. If you have like the 200 meters, like average of 200 meters here, then you may use like the 200. Then you can split. You can say like the every 100 meter you can measure the spatial correlations. So I'm going to remember like the 109 is going to be like the 100 or 110. Okay, so I'm going to, okay, let's say 100. Okay, so I'm going to go incremental spatial correlations. I'm going to select Lakewood point and input field will be higher educations, and then the beginning distance band that we saw that. we said it was 109, but we are going to use just hundreds, just make it even numbers. So I'm going to make it 50. The meaning of 50, so we start from 100 meters, then every 50 meters, that means 150, 200, 250, and 300, something like this. We're gonna measure every 50 meters, okay? So then now, yep, then we do, then we do not need to have this one, is for the shape file, not the point file. So then we are going to make the report file to species and I class and assignment 3 and incremental 1. I'm going to save this, then it will create the PDF file that you know that, right? So I'm going to click. So here it's working. If you have lots of dots, then it's gonna take a little bit longer time. So then I click this. Then we got the peak 300, right? So if you click this PDF, then it will show you the peak distance here. And here, like the first peak 150 and maximum peak 300. So we are going to use the 300, right? Okay, so then we are going to remember like the max peak 300 meters. Then previously we used that hotspot here, right? But now we are going to use cluster and outlier analysis using like the Enslaved local Morenzi. Here we go. So then now we are going to find out our layer, go to points, and then input field will be higher educations, and then it will create a new layer. So I'm going to save these things to my assignment 3. So I may say here like the Lakewood High EDU 17. I'm going to save this here. So now we are going to use the fixed distance band because we measured that one, right? So then I'm going to say was like the 300 maximum, right? So nothing we are going to touch on here, okay? So then we are going to click OK. So here we go. So now like we have here, if you click this here, we can see those kind of stuff like the red and gray. This like I'm going to like this. This the gray. This the small gray point. It means like it does not show any significant clusters, right? Then the red, it says like let's change some like here. This one make a little bit large, 12, and make like this. So it has here higher cluster, high cluster. That means like it identified the clusters which like the high education people are together. Okay. So this is the means. So I'm going to see here red. I'm going to make it 18 and red like this. This means like the this is outlier, high and low. That means like the higher education and the low educations are together. Okay, this is kind of the outliers. Okay. And next thing is like, let's see here, low and low cluster. I'm going to make a little bit large and this colors something like this. And this is a cluster of the low and low educations. They are staying together. Okay. So this one also like the outliers, like the low and high, and then there are like the lots of low education with like the kind of the high education together. Okay, so that is difference here. So we can see here like the low cluster, low education people, cluster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And then we got the outliers, high and low and high in the middle here, and then the west side, and then east side. Then we got a high, which is like higher education peoples are here and here and here, right? So those are the clustering analysis with using like the local Moran's AI. So using local Moran's AI means like the measuring the spatial correlation within this area. I mean, like the hotspot analysis, we measured like the entire, like the data, like the spatial correlations. That is the global Moran's AI. But if you do like the cluster analysis like this, so of course, even though we started measuring like the global Moran's AI, that means we need to first figure it out the whether or not your data set has the spatial correlations. That's the same thing. But the way to measure the clustering is a little bit different from the hotspot analysis. So this one is the clusterings using local Moran's AI. It measures the spatial correlation within the clustered agglomerations. Okay. So now we can see like this. So now you can see like the cluster analysis. Then now we are going to start with like the polygon shapefile. So I'm going to make like this. So we are going to use this one. Let's take a look here at the properties. And so we go to symbologies and then categories, and I'm going to go, let's say, gonna go have like the low income 2017 and go to quantile, something like this. So let's take a look here again. So I'm going to format labels. I'm going to make 0. Click OK. So here we can see like the low-income people who makes the below $3,000 per month. So here there are many, not many here, something like this. So this is just we create like some kind of the density map based on our low income data set. So then now I'm gonna go here and cluster analysis, like this. And this is we are going to select the Lakewood, and input field will be low income to 2017. I'm going to save this. Lakewood low 17. So click OK. Then now what we are going to do here, so we did not measure any like the distance span, right? Because it is the polygon shapefile, right? They touch each other, and then So we do not going to measure the distance. We are going to use to configure the edges and corners, right? It's because they stay each other just next to each other, right? So just make sure like that when you use the polygon shapefile, you are going to use the configure the edges and corners. So we are not going to measure. So if we measure the distance, we have no like the starting point. Are you going to measure from here, from here, from here? So measure from here to here. So it's very ambiguous to measure the distance. So we are going to use these functions, okay? Then now we are going to use select the raw file. It means like that it's going to prevent some redundant measurement between like the polygon files. So then anything else, then we are going to click OK. So it's running here. So it looks like has no clusters in terms of this. So let's take a look at the higher income again. Like and field will be higher incomes, and we are going to save this Lakewood and 2, and we're going to save continuous edge, click the row. Anything else? We are good. Click OK. Take a look at what's happening. Here we go. It shows something. Okay. Good, good, good. So as we can see here, we're going to click here. So low income has no clusters, but here you can see it's similar to this. Maybe not. So based on the polygon shapefile, the result is a little bit different. So I'm going to make it high and high. It's going to be, I'm going to make it like the same colors like this. So with the point file, high, a little bit different, right? And low, I'm going to change the color, which is similar to this one. So this is low clusters, like low income together. So let's take a look at here. Yeah, but this area does not show on the with the polygon shapefile, right? And we have like here high low and low high outliers. So it's like the blue area here, pretty much similar to, it's not a little here, a little bit similar here, but the polygon shapefile shows a little bit different result here, right? And low and high, the high and low, the middle here, but the point file shows you here. So yeah, I mean those are a little bit different because the measurement method is different. So maybe this is one of the good method to see like the what kind of clusters within those kind of area. Okay, so today we see like the how to do clustering analysis with like the point file, how to do clustering analysis with like the shape files, right? So the results are pretty much similar, but some parts are different, right? So usually we do cluster analysis through the point file. So point file is going to be better to identify the clusters. Okay, so I mean it is more accurate as far as I know. So it doesn't matter, you can do like the cluster analysis with your point file or like the shapefile, like the polygon shapefile. It's depending upon your decision, but if I were you, I strongly recommend you to use like the point file, because you can measure the distance, you can see like the incremental spatial correlations, everything. So I think this is it about the cluster analysis, right? Okay, so I'm going to give you like some kind of EG clustering analysis assignment. So good luck.